Today on the Nerdiest Podcast, we're going to be doing a deep dive and review into the newest soiree in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Wonder Man. But also, we're going to be talking about some news of the new CEO of Disney, the Spider-Noir trailer, and more, so you're not going to want to miss it. Hello and welcome to the Nerdiest Podcast, the show where nerds talk about nerdy things. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Jackson Glass, and today I'm joined by my co-host, my ride or die, Mr. Nick Barrett, the host with the most, who's always sleep deprived. And today we are doing something that we haven't gotten to do in a long time, and that's review a new Marvel thing. That's right, Wonder Man is live on Disney Plus. All 8 episodes are there, and we hope that you've had time to watch it because we will be giving spoilers in this episode. So we hope you've watched it, and we're so glad you're here to watch us review it. But before we do that, there's been some interesting news going on. So, Mr. Nick?
Wiki wow. News time. So, as Jackson has said multiple times, some of the best news breaks after we press stop recording. And this time it came like the Monday after. What was really funny is like Monday, the day the episode drops, this tweet goes out from Discussing Film, and they're like, Disney board to vote on Bob Iger's successor CEO tonight. And then everyone was like, okay, well, you know, they're going to vote, go through a whole process. Like, I kept thinking it was like the Senate where they're like, we're going to vote on this. And then like 3 weeks goes by and it's like, okay, well, now we're actually going to vote on it. But no, I forgot that this is a for-profit business. And they actually get stuff done. Right. So they do that thing. And then Tuesday morning, I get up and I go to work and I'm just doing my normal like news scroll. And Josh D'Amaro was selected as the new CEO of Disney. So I have a lot of things to say about that, but I'm not going to say it because that's our topic for the after show this month. So we're going to dive a little more into that on the after show. You know, become a YouTube member. It's great. Yeah. But I will say, just like briefly, I do think this is hopefully a step in the right direction. I don't think Josh D'Amaro is inherently evil.
Yeah.
And it's just nice that it's not Bob Iger anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's the benefit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are done with Bob Iger.
They're like, as long as it's not that guy.
Bob Iger's like, hey, guys, what if we put AI-generated content on Disney Plus by September? I'm like, dog, I pay you to make content, not pay you to get AI to make content. Right. All right? Come on now. Like,
now,
let's get real.
My grandchildren won't have water, but I could fix the end of Moana 2. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's
my grandkids won't have water, and my power bill will be through the roof. But you know what? We can change the rise of Skywalker. So it all evens
brother.
out.
So and honestly, some of you may die, and that's a price I'm willing to pay,
and that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
I think it's so like. This is so stupid. We're going to dive so deep on this on the after show. So if you're not a YouTube member for $5 a month, you could get a bonus episode every month if you love what we do here. But what I will say is that he also mentioned, Josh D'Amaro mentioned that he was interested in premiering Disney films in Fortnite.
I did see that. That's crazy.
And he was like, yeah, Fortnite's going to be like, become one of those like key multimedia players that all the industry uses. And I'm just at a point where I'm like, why is Fortnite closer to the metaverse than the metaverse? And I kind of have this theory, like, I don't know if this is too like philosophical for this podcast. You know, if I had a nickel for every time I brought up Fortnite on the podcast this month, I'd have 2 nickels. But do you think that maybe like you can't sell the metaverse as the metaverse? You almost have to like trick us into participating.
Yeah. Fortnite, because, hot take, Fortnite might be the Antichrist. What can I say? It's bringing all the worlds together for one world where everyone is there. So maybe Fortnite is the facilitator of the Antichrist. What can I
Listen,
say?
I got a headshot, and it was 666 damage. All right. Send this man to the principal's office. Yeah,
that's actually massive overkill for a
that's
sniper
crazy.
shot. Your max
no,
health
it
is
is
250.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so go listen to the Nerdiest After Show if you're interested in us talking about Josh D'Amaro, new CEO of the Walt Disney World Company. Also, new trailer come out that I was not anticipating to be really excited about, and that is a Spider-Man noir starring Nicolas Cage. What are your thoughts on that?
Wrong Nick, not me. Sorry, guys.
All right.
I'm not in Spider-Man
Just to clear up
noir.
some rumors, I'm not in Spider-Man noir.
I'm not gonna lie. I watched the trailer, and I was actually like sufficiently impressed. Like I thought it looked good. I like that they're leaning into the whole like you can either watch it in black and white or you can watch it in color. I think that's a really interesting like thing to push in the modern day, because like we get WandaVision and those like the first 2 episodes were in black and white, and then they kind of ditched that whole aesthetic. And I know it's because they moved like forward in time for what they were referencing, but just for an entire series to commit to being a black and white production, I think is really interesting. And what kind of irks me the wrong way is that it's meant to be like a detective show, but they're dropping it all at once. So you can binge it all at the end of May. So
that rubs me the wrong way.
That's cool. It's also on Amazon Prime, which I think I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. I'd love to do an episode on it if the timing works out.
And
because I really want to watch it.
I just want it to not... I just want Amazon to not be egregious with their ad placement. That's all. Because we don't have like the ad... Because, they put ads on everything now, even if you're paying for it.
Yep.
Just so stupid.
Yeah.
But you know what?
We've been watching The Chosen, and it'll just be like... Which is it's a great show, by the way. But it'll be like Jesus healing someone, and then like... Dupixent is known for this and that, and I'm just like
smash cut to like an Arby's commercial, and it's the most unhealthy, greasy burger you've ever seen. It's like, Jesus, heal me from that.
What I thought was interesting about Spider Noir is the cast looks phenomenal. Like Nick Cage, I'm gonna be honest, I thought he was maybe too old for this. Like I didn't expect him to jump into like a Spider-Man role, like live action like this. He's 62. Like, Nick Cage could be my grandfather, and he's playing Spider-Man in this show, which is awesome. It also has Lamorne Morris, who, if you was probably most well known for, he was Winston on New Girl. So, he's really funny. He's been in a ton of stuff. I'm really, really excited about it. The question is, now they are, unless I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure they're releasing it in black and white and in color.
Yes, which one
so
are you
can
going to
watch either one. I'm probably going to watch the black and white.
Me too.
I'm thinking black and white. And I think I'm so glad, and this is going to tie into Wonder Man, like, we're actually kind of really into black and white right now, like, for movies and specifically superhero media. So I love black and white. I think it adds so much character and so much tone. And it really is, like, the purest form of cinematography. Like if you look at like film history back in the day, like before we had Technicolor film, it was entirely like your cinematography was entirely based on how you shaped light. So that's why black and white movies have such intentional camera work and such intentional cinematography, was because they didn't have color to distract from any of that. So it was like you either were in the light or in the dark. Like it was like you were crafting shadows. Like that was the intention of cinematography. So I love black and white. I intend to watch it in black and white. Also, high key, I just bought some curtains for my living room after living here for almost a year. So high key, I'm gonna actually be able to watch TV in daylight now. I was watching.
That's always so frustrating.
I was watching the last episode of Wonder Man today. No spoilers yet, but he's at the last part where it's like really dark. I literally like leaned really close. I was like, "What's happening?" Like I can't tell what's happening. is so funny. But
whenever I move and can set things up differently, so for most who like kind of, you can get a layout of my room. I have the window over here, and immediately across from that on the other wall is my TV.
Yep.
So if I ever want to play video games or watch a movie or something, I gotta like shut the curtains, shut the like shutters, whole thing, so that I can actually see what's on the TV. But the most frustrating part about that is even if I do that, I have this ceiling fan light behind me that you can see in the reflection of the thing there, and it reflects in the top left part of the TV no matter where I sit. So I've always got some kind of reflection on this TV. So I'm like, we are checking every angle. I am setting this up so my TV is going to be in such a wonky place.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to walk in and be like, why is your TV hanging upside down from the ceiling? And it's like, well, don't you know it's the best way to get no reflection? And I can lay back on the couch like a dentist's office and go, wow, that's awesome. I can see my TV. Trust me, it's all part of the process.
The way that like you're gonna whip out this mathematical equation that's just like, well, the angle of the TV when the sun comes out, so at like 4 p.m. when it hits the thing, and you have like a mirror misguiding the sun away from your TV. Just like, these are the kind of homes we're gonna run as like real adults. Final news point is that Tubi just grabbed a ton of free stuff, which is really cool. So. I don't know. You kind of know more about that if you want to drop that.
Yeah, you're right. I saw that today, and I just figured I'd put it on here because it's like, positive news in a world. Yeah. The last couple weeks, I won't get into it. We all know what's been freaking everybody out the last couple weeks. So figured it's nice to put some hopium out in the world. Put some goodness out there.
Good vibes.
A bunch of Cartoon Network and Warner Bros. Shows are set to stream on Tubi on March 1st. This includes Animaniacs, Ben 10, Codename Kids Next Door, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, The Powerpuff Girls, Teen Titans, The Batman, Batman and the Brave and the Bold, Justice League, Ed, Edd and Eddy, and Dexter's Laboratory. So
that's awesome.
I think this is great because in an age where kids are being given electronics arguably far too young, but also every streaming service feels like it's charging you an arm and a leg just to get on. It's nice that there are these good, like, more classic shows available for free. And you don't have to, like, oh, man, I got to get my HBO Max subscription, got to do this, got to do that. So I do think, I mean, obviously it would be ideal if every streaming service was free, but we all know that's not how the world works.
It's not going to happen.
But it is nice that there is at least something out there to hit that audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think, like, even like you said, like, you could pay for Amazon Prime and still have ads. Where it's like, I paid for this. Where are the ads? And what's getting us more now is not trying to log in and, like, log into it's more that, like, you can't use someone else's account anymore.
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't let you do it. Prime struggles to do it. HBO doesn't let you do it anymore. And so it's kind of just like, what are we... Like, the password sharing has gotten really, really aggressive. I'm like, there's no way that this is actually benefiting you in any way. Because guess what happens when I try to watch something on Netflix and they say, you're not in your household, so you could either... say that you're traveling. I could give you a 2-factor authentication code. You could call your father-in-law and he could, like, try, if he's not busy, try to read you this code that got to this random email. You know what I do? I say, no, I'm good. And then I go to a different streaming service that doesn't make me do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, well, I'll watch something I have on DVD or something on Disney Plus. Like, you mean to tell me, like, Disney, who is, like, kind of notoriously just the greediest company ever, isn't cracking down on password sharing, but Netflix is like, no, you need to pay $18 a month per person. Like,
yeah, well, that's also
get
because,
out.
Listen, Disney has alternative sources of income, as we will discuss in the after show. Netflix does not. They're actually still trying to spend $80 billion. So
to steal. No, listen. Surprising turn of events. Tubi wins Warner Brothers lawsuit. Like we got, and it was like,
actually
wait a minute.
pays $0 and gets all of this stuff. They are the true winners here.
Tubi is like that one friend that always gives you really great gifts, but you're not sure if they're employed, and you're just kind of wondering where they're getting the money from. And it's kind of like, are you on Social Security, or are you like...
You on government assistance?
Are you on... Because this is kind of cool. Like, what's the catch?
Are you on unemployment?
What's the deal here?
Do you have a brother who has been bankrolling you so you could buy your mom an ice cream machine?
It's like, was there a freaking... Hey, that was a good reference. I like that. It's like, did you win a lawsuit? Like, how are you doing this? Like, how does Tubi have originals? Like, I don't understand. Anyway, so yeah, that's the news points for today. So thank you so much for joining us. If you are new here, we really appreciate if you would just give us 5 stars on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on freaking Pandora, on wherever you're listening. It really just helps us grow. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure you're smashing that subscribe button. Absolutely demolish that like button. Take a wrecking ball to that subscribe button.
Let me stop you right there. That is like 2015 YouTube. We've so far moved past that.
Okay.
You just
gently give a peck on the cheek to that subscribe button. Just a little. So.
What?
just subscribe. I don't know. I don't want to like.
Speaking of reviews,
we
did get a new review.
Yes.
5-star review from YGuy28 says, "This is such a great podcast. I love the ranking episodes." Thank you for leaving a 5-star review and a comment.
And so if you leave a 5-star review and a comment, we might read it on the show. So make sure you do that. Subscribe on YouTube. That's a great way to support us. We are doing video exclusive on YouTube. So if you want to see our beautiful faces, then you could watch on YouTube. So yeah, that's that about that. Mr. Nick, how are you doing this week before we get into Wonder Man?
I'm alive.
Yeah.
Had a bit of an existential content crisis this week.
That's okay.
Not really. No, I make it sound like it was an existential crisis, and it kind of was. Just because I started thinking about like what I actually want to do in terms of making content and what that looks like, and really getting in my own head about like, oh my gosh, I'm working on this video script, and it's supposed to be done for February, but we're halfway through February already, and I don't the first draft is done, but I'm not gonna have time to record it, so like. It was just me getting to a point where I'm like, I'm almost trying to walk back and making videos more of a hobby than a side hustle, because I feel like the side hustle aspect was really burning me out and making me not want to make content. But even then, I also had to redefine what making content looks like, because like, yes, there's, recording, scripting, YouTube videos and stuff, but there's also live streaming, and there's, I'm working on this little creative writing project on the side, which I'll talk about a little more at a later date.
That's exciting.
So just trying to figure all of that out, but then also just finding time to enjoy things. Like, I finally started Final Fantasy VII Remake this past week.
Wonderful.
Or I guess 2 weeks ago, I think, the week last episode came out. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. Looks great on Switch, too. I need to find time to sit down and play it more. But really been having a good time with that. And then I do want to give you guys an update. As I said, my fiance Maddie and I are watching through the Star Wars movies.
Yes.
We watched A New Hope, which is so unfortunate because if you go to Disney Plus, it's the updated CGI version.
Yep.
And on my DVD, what do I have but the updated CGI version? So as it was starting, I had to pause it and be like, hey, I just want to put this out there. There is some stuff in here that was not in the original version. Yeah. And you will be able to tell.
Yeah.
Because everything from the original was very practical or very dated VFX from like the 70s.
Yeah.
Not that it looks bad, but like you can tell that it's from the 70s. And I was like, I'm just putting that out there. So then we get to that scene with
kind
Jabba
of the fun. Yeah.
at the Falcon, and she was like, "Oh, I could, yeah, okay,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
like I'm clocking.
I can see, I got it." So we've just watched A New Hope. She gave it a 7 out of 10,
Okay.
which
That's
honestly
great.
I think is fair. I gave it like 8.5, 9 out of 10. But I told her, like, if you were to rewatch A New Hope after having seen all the other movies and, like,
Yeah.
the Kenobi show and Rogue One and probably Andor, like, I think it would make a lot more sense. And there, like, you would get a lot more out of it. Because, like, as someone who's seen Kenobi, like, there's a whole different level of like his relationship with why Leia's reaching out to him specifically, and his relationship with Luke, and you know the ins and outs of his relationship with Anakin from the prequels. Like, so there's a lot more to it when you have all of that context. But I can understand how if you don't, you could be like, okay, that was a good start. Like, we're getting somewhere. So we're gonna watch Empire Strikes Back tonight, I think.
Ooh.
Assuming all the timing works out. If not, we'll find another time to do it this weekend. But so my goal, and I haven't said this to her, even though I should, is to get her caught up enough that we can watch Andor together.
Oh,
because
that'd
then
be awesome.
maybe I'll actually be able to slug my way through it.
Yeah.
So that's that about that. One thing I want to do real quick is I want to acknowledge Josh, who comments on all of the Spotify episodes. I see you.
Sorry.
I read your comments. I'm so sorry. He left a comment on our 2025 year in review, asking, as a Christian, what would you recommend to be a good anime to start with? I've been vaguely interested before, but never got into it. My recommendation, I'll give you 3.
You come to the right place.
I will say Demon Slayer, Frieren, and let me think. Fruits Basket, I would say, all good places to start. You got an action, a fantasy, and a slice of life. So you can kind of, go from there. And if you want more recommendations, not to shameless self plug, but you can go to youtube.com/Nick with no K, and I have all kinds of anime videos if that's what you're looking to get into. I do have one more thing I want to go over, but I'm going to let you go on your week because this is going to be the segment closer.
Awesome. Yeah, I can honestly say I didn't do a whole lot this week. As most of you know, as you've followed the show, I am very close to the end of my college career. And I'm almost to graduation. But it means that I still have homework. And have I been doing that homework? Kind of. Here's the thing. My whole family is playing on this Minecraft server right now. And it's really fun. But I kind of realized, like, I was just building this castle. It's really great. I'm really proud of it so far. But they told me, they said, hey, we're going to go fight the warden. Do you want to come? And I said, no, I don't. I have iron tools. Like, there's no fighting the warden. It has more health than the Ender Dragon. That's not going to happen. And I kind of realized, I was like, oh no, I fell behind in this world. I need to lock the freak in. And so the last week has been me, like, any free moment I have, I'll sit down and I found that Minecraft is really hard sometimes because you just don't know what to do because it's so open world. And I found that if I sit down and I go, okay, this is my goal for this play session. I know how much time I have. I'm only going to play for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I want to achieve this by the end of my time. When I tell you I now have diamond armor, all diamond tools, finished my enchanting room. There's a secret entrance and secret exit to my enchanting room, built a nether portal. Dude, I'm locked the freak in, guys, okay? I'm killing this world now, all right? So that is pretty much the only interesting thing I've done all week is I've just been any free second I have has been watching Wonder Man or playing Minecraft. So that's literally it. You can achieve a lot in a video game if you just lock in for like 20 minutes.
Okay, so it's so funny you say that because I watched a long form video this past weekend that kind of like revolutionized my whole like workflow.
Yeah.
And it was about how playing video games is better than doom scrolling.
Yeah.
And how like it's so much more like efficient for your time and like good for your creativity and your brain and stuff, because doom scrolling is just endless dopamine hits over and over again, and you don't really remember anything. Like you scroll for 20 minutes on reels, you don't remember what you like what the last reel you watched was.
No.
So it was this video talking about how like instead of scrolling on Twitter for 30-45 minutes, like find something to do that's productive. You know, put a half hour into Final Fantasy. If you took all of your screen time, which I looked, mine on average is 9.5 hours a week.
Yeah.
Or per day a week. If you were to put all of that time into a video game, you know how far you could get in a video game?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I get so stuck because I'm like, oh, well, if I'm going to play like Final Fantasy or Persona or whatever, I need to have all this time, like, to just... You know, I gotta have like a half hour to sink in. And, like, I gotta have 2 hours set aside. It's like, no, just do like I did a 20-minute play session on the way to church the other day.
Yeah.
Like, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. That's 40 minutes in Final Fantasy.
Right.
That I would have spent doing what? Scrolling on Twitter and looking at things? Like, so I did cut my... I have a screen time limit. I cut my Twitter down to an hour every day. And what's really hard is when the time limit is up, I don't open it again. Because it's really easy to open it and just ignore limit for 15 minutes. But I'm like, no. When it's done, you're done. And I told myself that I am not allowed to get on Twitter until I do my Bible study in the morning. So I have done my Bible study every morning, first thing every morning. So I cut Twitter like even by an hour this week, not even like out entirely, cut it by an hour. I have been more productive this week than pretty much any other week this year.
There you go.
So
that's what I'm saying.
It really is that darn phone. My mom was right.
It's that dang phone. It's the dang phone. And here's the other thing too is I will say I understand there are more productive things to do than play a video game. You could read a book, you could whatever. But also, we're talking about detox things. We're talking about things that we want to do to relax. And at what point did we decide that scrolling was relaxing? Because it's not actually relaxing. It's just kind of like shutting your brain off and killing your creativity. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Topic ender here. I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
I conducted this study on Twitter, as a deep scientific person, and I had this thought the other day.
Yeah.
I call it the Mario study. Now.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Did you, when you were growing up playing Nintendo games, did you ever have a specific, like, Mario princess that you had a crush on? Like, where did you fall on the spectrum?
Peach, Daisy, Rosalina?
Yeah. The, like, core 3.
Yeah. Not really. Like, not... I just didn't think that way. But I didn't think that way. But if I had to pick one, like, from back then, I probably, like, if you asked me that question at that age, I would have said Rosalina. What does that say about me? What, are you about to psychoanalyze me? What?
So that was the study. Is like I was sitting in my room one night. I was on the phone with Maddie, and I had this thought. I was like, you can tell a lot about a guy based on which Mario princess he had a crush on growing up. And she just kind of looked at me and was like, "Are you going to elaborate?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah. Thank you for asking.
If you were if you had a crush on Peach, you are kind of like...
You're basic.
You're basic, but also, like, kind of vanilla. Like, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with vanilla ice cream, right? Like, you got to have a foundation somewhere. Like, if your foundation is bad, it's all cooked, right?
Good foundation.
If you're a Daisy guy, you definitely want someone who's a little more active, a little more tomboyish,
What?
like one of the guys. Like,
What
oh
is
yeah,
this?
I'm active. Let's go. And then if you're a Rosalina guy, you definitely like lean into that emo goth aesthetic just a little bit, because there's something about like the hair covering one eye that she's like kind of mysterious, and you're like, oh, I like the mystery.
What is? I think you
I
need
see
to like.
the vision.
I think you need to develop this one just a little more.
No, so I posted this on Twitter, and I said, you can tell a lot about a guy based on which Nintendo princess he had a crush on. And there were a lot of people who, like myself, were big Peach stans growing up.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo released Super Mario Galaxy, and
Yeah.
we realized there's a better version of vanilla ice cream out there. There's something better out there.
Rocky Road.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
So feel free in the comments to let me know where you guys fall on the list.
Screw
of...
Enneagrams.
Yeah, no
Screw
more
Enneagram.
Enneagrams.
Screw
Which
star
Nintendo
signs.
princess did you have a crush on growing up?
Screw
Let
star
me know
signs.
in the comments below.
See, there isn't. Is there a female equivalent to this? Because it's like, which Mario brother did you have a crush on? And it's like, no, which fat Italian plumber did you think was hot?
Were you
like,
a Mario?
neither of
Luigi,
them.
Wario, Waluigi.
Dude. If you had a crush on Wario growing up, just like, listen. Today's sponsor is BetterHelp, because that's what you need.
If you had a crush on Wario growing up, that means that you want someone who's going to be able to provide for you, but they're also just a little bit toxic. If you were into Waluigi, you like
have
a guy
daddy
who
issues.
can you like a guy who can romance you and is also way taller than you. So for the 90% of women out there who are like, my guy needs to be 6'1" or higher,
Gosh.
that's Waluigi. If you want Luigi, he's a good guy. He's loyal and can jump higher than Mario. So he can always get that top shelf item for you.
If you liked Yoshi, then that probably means you don't like to drive.
And if you like Mario,
You're vanilla.
you're basic.
You're vanilla.
Thank you for coming to my TED
You're
Talk.
basic. Oh my gosh. I had a huge we're about to talk about Wonder Man. I had a conversation about The Good Place at a Super Bowl party this week.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
The Super Bowl happened, by the way. And I was like,
No good trailers.
No good trailers, maybe like 2 good commercials, and freaking one of the worst football games I've ever seen. Go Seahawks, Big 12, but also like it was the lamest game. They just like dominated, and I was like, yeah, I knew they'd do that, but also like give me a story, give me some conflict.
Give me
like,
give me a plot here. Like this is hype moments and aura farming.
Also, final note, nothing ruins a good commercial like knowing who it's a commercial for, and I stand by that. Because this year, listen, you watch a commercial and you're like, oh, this is so funny. It's for crypto. Oh, this is so funny. Oh, this is great. Oh, it's for AI.
I see.
Oh, this
I
is
see
so
what
funny.
you're
Oh, this is great. Oh, it's a weight loss drug. And it's just like, it ruins the
It's
whole
Ozempic
thing.
again.
Yeah, classic. All right, everybody. The moment you've all been waiting for. Thank you for being here.
Munderwan.
Subscribe on YouTube. Munderwan. Wonder Man. Dropped on Disney Plus, and I hope that we're not too late to this game, and I hope that you have been able to watch the whole show. Mr. Nick, general thoughts to start. When you kind of first, because this was my idea to watch this, because I thought it looked kind of interesting. It looked different than what Marvel's been doing. So tell me your initial thoughts when you were kind of like seeing about it, watched the first episodes. Like, what are you thinking?
So, I hadn't watched any trailers or anything because I really, I've been so tuned out on Marvel for a long time. And I just, I wasn't paying attention. And then I saw a couple people on my feed on Twitter talk about how Marvel was able to like stick the landing. It was actually really good. They really enjoyed it. Like, so it had kind of like had a positive spin before you had brought it up. So then when you brought it up, I kind of like looked at it on Disney Plus and I like saw the premise and the little snapshot they put on there. And I was like, okay, this looks like it could be interesting. And at the very least, like, you know, it's something new to talk about on the podcast, something newer. And we haven't gotten to talk about Marvel in a while. So, and it was also interesting because like we had just done that episode of the after show where we were talking about like, what the heck is Marvel doing right now? Like what is going on? Like, it's really easy to focus on the Doomsday and the Brand New Day, like that. I think Wonder Man kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know this was releasing in, when did it release? January? Beginning of February?
Yeah, I think beginning of February. Yeah, it came out January 27th.
Okay, so like
all
end
episodes.
Of January.
Like, this could have been weekly. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if they just weren't confident in it or what, but they were just like, yeah, it's all 8 episodes. Enjoy.
And like, what I appreciated was that they were like 30 minutes max.
Yes.
It was not like a Stranger Things where every episode's like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very easy time commitment and time sink.
Yeah.
For me to get into it, which is also why I was like, okay, you know what? Sure, let's do it. Let's talk about it.
I can watch 8 30-minute episodes. Like,
yeah, I can do that.
That's fine. That's watching like 2 movies. Like, it's really not that much of a commitment. It's not like we're doing 22-hour-long episodes. So just lock in. And also, most of them are horrible. So just like
most of them are actually bad.
Yeah, I was curious about this one because it was the first time a Marvel show actually kind of broke the script for me in the last maybe few years, because they've been doing, you know, Echo and Ironheart and these random, like, I would dare I say, like, Marvel slop movies. And I hate the word, like, slop is kind of becoming like a common thing we say, and I don't want to demean those shows and the people working on them, but if you look at those shows in the greater context of Marvel, how are they standing out? Right. How are they being different than what we've been doing the last few years? And Wonder Man was the one that made me go, oh, this doesn't look like everything else they're doing. I also love shows that take place in Hollywood, take place in film, like film culture. I love La La Land, like stuff like that, where they like make movies just because I love the creative process. It almost looked like if Marvel made The Studio on Apple TV. I said, okay, this looks interesting. And so I thought 8 episodes, like, let's just watch it. It got great reviews. I thought the vibe looked really cool. I love their title card. The typography was really intentional. And I'll kind of dive into it, just kind of moving forward. I was kind of shocked. Like, I was pleasantly surprised because you think about Marvel. You think about where we've been the last almost 7 years of Marvel. You think about what are they known for? What is Marvel? And they did what I would argue is one of the greatest cinematic achievements of our time. In the thing was the connecting thread. It was, you had these great movies, you got to sit down and watch the movie, but if you paid attention and you actually sat through all of it, you got to watch this huge web of this giant plan come together into this incredibly cultural significant moment of Endgame. It was just, I don't think we're ever going to achieve that again. Just because of the way it was, just this interactive narrative that we had never seen before and will probably never see again, because it was executed so perfectly. It was a cultural moment that we could never recreate. 7 years later, what are we doing? We're still just regurgitating. We're trying so hard to connect the threads and nothing's sticking. We're saying, oh, we need, the Fantastic Four in Doomsday. We need Robert Downey Jr. back to do Victor Von Doom. We need Captain America back. We need this and that. We talked about this on the after show. The strings are not connecting. The things are like we're not seeing the web. Her web connects them all. We're not seeing it work. It's not working. And then, out of nowhere, they drop this 8-episode series that is really slow, really grounded, very intentionally shot, intentionally written, about these two characters trying to be actors. That's the whole thing. Wonder Man is barely a superhero show. It's kind of connected, but it's not begging to be connected. And maybe that's okay. I think what's so interesting is that we've been chipping away at this Marvel block for 7 years to be like, it's going to connect, we're going to connect it all, it's all going to work, it's all part of the plan. And none of it's working. And then we drop 8 episodes of this completely detached thing. It's so slow and it's really intentional. And maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay that Wonder Man doesn't go fight Doctor Doom. Maybe it's okay that, there wasn't 10 cameos in this show that was gonna, there is no end credit scene. It's not tying to this bigger narrative. They didn't even promise a season 2. Like, all these things, that's okay. Because we kind of went back to the basics of what was actually good about Marvel. And that was, I cared about these characters. I thought the writing was actually kind of intentionally put together in a way that was compelling. It had some sauce. It had a style. It was quiet and sweet and did these long takes that the actors got to breathe and do these, like, I thought the characters were compelling and funny, and it was this weird, like, cultural mix that I thought was, like, really unique and different. It didn't feel forced in any way, and I was like, oh, Marvel could still do this. We could still do this. And it's going to slip through the cracks because it's not, at the end of the newest Avatar trailer. So what do you think? Like, Wonder Man, what were they even doing? Like, what is this?
So it's funny that you mentioned, like, it doesn't even really feel like a superhero show, because that's how I felt the entire first episode. Like, I watched the first episode, and up until, what was it, like a half hour long?
Yeah.
Up until, like, the first 25 minutes, like, until the last, like, 2 or 3 minutes of the episode, because that's when things really, like, take a twist.
Yeah.
I kept asking myself, why does this need to be a Marvel show? Is this a Minecraft movie situation where I feel like they could have, pulled the Marvel IP out of it and it would have been the same? Because, like, obviously there's, you see the Rogers the Musical billboards.
Right.
And, like, it takes place in that same world, but it doesn't feel like the other Marvel shows. It doesn't feel like a WandaVision, a Loki, a Hawkeye. Like, so I kept asking myself, like, why does this need to be a Marvel show? I know Trevor Slattery's in it. I know he's the guy from Iron Man 3. Like, I get that, but why?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to that last, like, 2 or 3 minutes after their interchange at the bar, and then Simon leaves, and then Trevor takes the phone call, and this guy is like, hey, did you make contact with him? And then you realize, oh, this was all a setup. This is like an FBI sting, like, for the Department of Damage Control, because they're trying to catch this guy. And I think that's what makes it so interesting, and what makes it so different is we're following this Department of Damage Control, and we're following the aftermath of the snap. And like, what does the normal Marvel world look like? Because you have all of these, like, Iron Mans and Captain Americas and Hulks and all that. But then what about the normal people who are just born with superpowers, who just have it and they don't know how to control it? Because they just don't see it as anything other than, like, oh, well, I'm, like, cursed with this or, like, whatnot. And I think
there's almost a prejudice.
Yeah.
Like, he can't do his dream career because of it.
And I think that's also why one of my favorite episodes of the entire show was the one about the doorman.
That was so
because
good.
that's also an episode that's very grounded in like what would happen if this normal person got this like superpower. And also canonically Josh Gad is dead? Question mark?
Dude,
in the Marvel
R.I.P.
Cinematic Universe?
Josh Gad.
Like, what?
Him doing the freaking like EDM summer remix. Also, did you notice? I thought this was, here's the thing. I thought the show was actually really nuanced. And I was kind of trying to figure out the timeline of what was going on. And he was like, oh, the guy from Imagine Dragons is DJing. Radioactive is the most important song of the last few years. And I went, oh, like you're trying to tell me when this is taking place. Like there is clearly, it's the Josh Gad, Frozen is definitely huge. Radioactive is definitely huge. I was like, okay, this is like mid 2010s somewhere.
Yeah.
Like not specifically, but that's all that I needed
Like
to be like,
definitely
I
somewhere
get it.
2014, 2016
Yes.
type.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate that it felt more grounded, and it was so refreshing to not have some multiverse mumbo jumbo gunk up this show to turn it into something that it was not supposed to be.
Bless up.
That was so nice. I was
Yes.
like, oh, dude, this is great.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're rooting for Simon. You want him
Yes.
to get his goal. But also, like, I don't know. Maybe we can get into this. I kind of have mixed feelings on Simon as a character.
I do too, though.
Like,
I do too.
there's some of the stuff that happens to him that I'm like, no, that was justified. Like,
right.
okay. Nothing grinds my gears more in a creative sense than that first episode where he was like sitting down with the writer and he was like, well, yeah, I actually think like they would have this kind of backstory. Like he's really like making mountains out of molehills.
Yeah.
And the writers are kind of like trying to placate to what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But then he gets fired. And I was like,
Yeah.
good.
Good. Yeah.
Good. You are, one, know your place. You
Yeah.
are a background actor.
Yeah.
You are not like a main character
Yeah.
here. And two, as someone who writes, I can't stand
Right.
actors who, and you know, sometimes they make really good, like, I think that was kind of the character development towards the end in episode 7
Yeah.
was him like kind of tweaking that one line, but he was like a lot more subtle about it of like, well, just change the wording.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to like change this whole character, like just change the
Right.
wording. So we got a little better, but in that first episode, it grinds my gears when actors are like, actually, I know the character better than you, the person who wrote it. And I'm like, no, you don't.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no, you read the words I wrote on the page.
Yeah.
Do not come here and try to tell me I did my job wrong.
Right. You're like, I'm open to hearing it. Like, I'm open to hearing what you have to say, but also like, hey, this was intentional. Like, it wasn't. Don't think I'm stupid. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. And what's so interesting, I think my biggest gripe with this whole show is the pacing. If I had to give it like a critique, I felt like, and this was the interesting viewing experience, was I was watching it with my wife, and I was like, hey, I think the show looks great. Let's give it a try. We watched the first episode, and I was like, what did you think? She was like, it was good. Like, I don't feel like much happened. I was like, yeah, that's fair. But I was like, it's the first episode. Like, let's see. We watched the second episode, and she was like, yeah, nothing happened. Like, well, like, what's happening? And I was like, okay, I could kind of see the setup, but like, you know, you're right. It's not like, you know, right in your face. And we watched the third episode, and she was like, stuff is, she said, I think I realized stuff is happening. I just don't like him at all. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. Like and we, like his brother being like, well, you've been doing this for 6 years. Like, what's the deal? Like, why can't you know, are you going to keep doing this? You're going to run me dry trying to chase his dream. And I was like, that's kind of fair. Like, that's a very valid thing to ask. Like, I don't think his brother may have been being a butt about it, but hey, he's kind of right. Like, at some point, you're just chasing your tail. This isn't worth it. And of course, you know, that changes and he becomes Wonder Man. That's the whole point of the show. But I'm also like, yeah, he's selfish. He's incredibly selfish. He's incredibly closed off. He, like, you know, lost his girlfriend in the first episode, and you kind of like, I was rooting for Trevor more than Simon. Like, I was captivated by Trevor. This was such a good, like, performance. His cadence made me laugh so hard. Anytime he said a word, it was the way he said it. He'd be like, he almost had like what's that rock guy from Ragnarok? Like,
oh, Korg?
Yeah, he almost had like a Korg voice. He was like, yeah, I'll have the water, yeah. And I was just like, that's so funny.
Which is so crazy that they did all of this with, like, a background character.
Yes.
Not even a background character, but, like, this random guy from Iron Man 3.
Of all movies.
Like, they could have written him off as, like, we arrested this guy for pretending to be a terrorist.
He's gone. Yeah.
And I mean, they did. And,
yeah, and they did.
I wasn't entirely sure. I feel like they did not do a good job of clearing this up unless I just missed something. They say he never finished his sentence. Is that because he got snapped for 5 years? Because, like, when he's initially sitting down with, like, they show that scene of him sitting down with the guy, the guy's like, well, you never finished your sentence. He's like, well, that's not my fault.
Yeah.
Like, so it doesn't sound like he broke himself out or someone broke him out. It sounds like he got snapped, was gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I guess just maybe the prison he was in disappeared, so he was popped in the middle of nowhere or whatever happened. Like,
yeah. I'm going to assume that was because... And here's what kind of sucks is I think Marvel was in a really good place to explore the world post-snap and just be like, like you said, like, what are those everyday implications of everyone disappearing for 5 years? Like, do you have to finish your prison sentence if you come back and you're like, it's been 5 years? It's like, well, none of us were here. I assume that's what happened. I was also not super clear on that. But I think that, like, the tension between him secretly being a spy, but also kind of like not like he understood what was going on. They kind of actually became friends. That tension was what kept me watching.
Yeah.
Like, I was very, very into that. I just feel like as far as the pacing goes, I felt like I had to get to the very end of the third episode for me to be like, okay, I'm curious at what's going to happen now, because they got the call back and I was like, okay, he's throwing the microphone away. Like, okay, I'm interested now. Like, where are we going with this? But then I felt like maybe the last 3 episodes were just like, boom, 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 boom. We're in the movie. We have the thing. It's, we're doing the audition. Now we're in the movie. Now the movie's done and it's the premiere. And now it's after the premiere. We're this. And I was like, I wanted to see. I felt like the whole point was that he got the role. And then it was kind of like, okay, the movie's done. He had the role. He's a huge actor now. And I was like, could we not have taken some of that time from the beginning where we didn't do a whole lot to, like, flesh that out a little bit more?
It's kind of funny you say it took you until the 3rd episode. I was hooked at the end of episode 1.
Really?
I was not expecting that twist. Do we see Trevor get, like, knocked down by the FBI in the 1st episode, or is that like beginning of the 2nd?
That's beginning of the 2nd episode when he's in the airport.
Yeah, that's right, because it starts with, like, him on the plane.
Yeah.
And then they set everything up. Okay. I was not expecting that twist at all.
No, me neither.
Like, I think it might have also been the way I watched it.
Yeah.
Because I only had time to watch 1 episode.
Yeah.
And I, like, instantly wanted to press play on the next one. Yeah. I was like, oh, wait.
So that's what's happening. Yeah.
So that's interesting, because I also didn't know Simon had powers at all.
Right.
Like, they kind of buried the lead on that, which is why I was like, why does this need to be a Marvel show?
Right.
Like, why is this a show about a guy? Like, I don't get it.
See, I went in kind of knowing he had powers. So maybe that like affected our viewing experience, like was the difference between our viewing experiences, because this in the synopsis they say like he's a superhero and he's trying to get this role. And I read that. So I kind of
Right.
expected it. I don't know. I didn't know if you do you have a favorite episode you would say?
Favorite episode?
The Doorman, like it sucks cuz I'm like Doorman is fire. Like them kind of putting like essentially a standalone short film in this series made it very anthology-esque. And I thought I'll also say I really loved the editing of this show because I think that jumping it was kind of like something happens and you're like, I don't really get it. And then they cut to a flashback and you're like, oh, I get it. So it's kind of like slowly unravels the whole thing for you. And I really appreciated that. I was like, oh, okay, this is actually, it's very show don't tell. And I thought that was very refreshing for what Marvel has been doing the last few years.
I think the Doorman is also my favorite episode because I liked the kind of meta commentary.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to ask you about this. I know I put it on the notes. Does this feel like it was set too much in the real world? Because if you look, you'll see there's Disney Plus billboards places. Like there was a sneaky poster hidden for the live action Lilo and Stitch.
I saw that.
It feels very 2025. When he talks to his girlfriend again, she talks about getting a part in Severance, which also is crazy because that's not a Disney Plus show.
That's not a Disney property at all.
Like
when they were pulling out their references, I noticed all of their references were of Disney properties.
Right, getting Josh Gad to go do all the stuff for Frozen.
Like it was Frozen. It was, there was all this, and I think that film movies kind of struggle to do this because, I mean, La La Land references old movies because it's trying to capture that nostalgic old Hollywood Studios type vibe.
Right.
But this is a modern Hollywood thing. And I think it's tough because they're actors. They love film. They know directors. They know actors. They know all of these film things. And so it's kind of like they know the modern Hollywood stuff, but also, in freaking, I don't even know, 10 years, are we going to be like Severance? What the
was
heck?
That? That was an Apple TV flop.
But that's all, remember that last season just got fell off the deep end. Also, little news point, Apple TV just pulled the production company that they were using for Severance, and they're using their internal production now, and I'm freaking terrified because they just greenlit 2 seasons.
Oh no.
They just greenlit 2 seasons, and I'm like, son of a biscuit, if you ruin this show, I'm gonna actively
Did they
switch
say
to
why?
an Android. Probably money. I don't know. They didn't say why. They were essentially just we're making this an internal thing now.
Are they keeping directors?
They're keeping the same
writers,
people. They're keeping all the same people. But I think so that makes me think it was a money or a contract thing. But I'm just but then they were like, yeah, we're greenlighting season 3 and 4.
Well, hey, that'll cut down on production time.
I was like, I think it will.
I guess time between the two.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of if they ruin this show, I'm switching to an Android. I can't, I can't do it.
You won't. You're too integrated in
no,
the
you're
Apple
right.
ecosystem.
I'm deep in the ecosystem. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I think that it's tough because I'm also streaming is so now and relevant that I'm well, maybe Wonder Man won't even be preserved 10 years.
Right, Disney Plus will crash or something and we'll never see Wonder Man again.
It'll be lost media, which I don't want to live like that though. I don't want to create shows that are so now that we couldn't care less their legacy is.
Right.
Don't we want a timeless legacy for these things? But media moves so quickly. And I felt this way about The Studio, the Apple TV show, which I thought was great. But they're the whole joke of The Studio is they're freaking auteur director movies don't sell. We need to do an IP movie. So he pitches like the Kool-Aid Man movie to Martin Scorsese. Like that's the whole joke. And they're like, yeah, but the Barbie movie did this, so we need to do that. And it's kind of like every like modern film of the last like 3 years is kind of referenced. And I just don't know how that's going to age.
Right.
I didn't feel like it was weird until the Severance reference. Because that stuck out to me a lot. Because that's still an active show.
Right.
Like, that's still going.
And it's not a Disney one either.
It's not Disney. So when, like, Josh Gad was there and they were doing the Frozen thing, I was like, oh, haha, it's Disney. And it's, like, the Disney Plus billboard. And I'm like, yeah, it's Disney Plus. It's whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Because I feel like, and this may just be a me thing, I feel like Marvel, it's, like, the real, air quote, real world. Like, it's always, like, New York City. Like, it's a real Earth. And they kind of like Thor plays Fortnite. And it's just kind of like, yeah, we do these real things.
But
it's never been
too on the nose.
It's never been outside of the Disney bubble. You know? It's kind of like how Disney World feels like a real place. Does that make sense?
I mean, Disney World is a real place.
I mean, it is a real place, but it's like, it's a crafted place.
Right.
So, like, when they curate the world, it's like, I'm not questioning why Josh Gad is singing Olaf songs. But it was that reference, she's like, oh, the lead role in Severance. I was like, that feels way too new for this. The show's not even done. Like, we have 2 seasons.
Which leads you to believe, and it asks this question, if Severance is canon, that means that Adam Scott is a real person in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which means that Adam Scott would have played Ben on Parks and Rec, which means that if Parks and Rec exists, then The Office exists, which means that if those 2 shows exist, then by proxy, Community has to exist. But how does Community exist? Because Community references The Office as a piece of media that exists, not something that took place in that universe.
Right.
But the Community also references Marvel and DC movies not as things that actually happen. So how does that all work? This is the multiverse that I want you to figure out. Not can we get Tom Cruise as Iron Man?
So here's my question, though. Who's in Fortnite? The Office. Who exists with your theory, exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? The Office. What else exists in the cinematic universe? Severance. What large company wants to do film premieres in Fortnite? Disney. What exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is owned by Disney? Severance. Severance coming to Fortnite? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you want.
Listen, it's been a good year to be in on the conspiracy theories, so you might want to buy some stocks now.
That's what
I'm saying. They only mature
buy
and
some
get better.
Fortnite stocks. Guys, subscribe so we can put all of our YouTube revenue in a Fortnite stock. All right? Because it's going up.
We will not be using any of your money that you send us via super chats, memberships, or ad revenue for crypto. I swear. I can promise you that. Don't ignore him. Ignore him. We're not putting your money into stocks or crypto. I promise.
We're not. Not yet. So yeah, this was just a very refreshing show. I thought this was really, really refreshing.
Can I bring this up? What does it say about Wonder Man that our favorite episode of the show is the one that has nothing to do with him?
Yeah.
I just thought about that. I was like, our favorite episode of the show is the one spin-off episode with the guy who never comes back.
Yeah.
I thought that episode was setting up for something.
Yeah.
And it was to an extent. Like it was setting
more
up
just explaining.
Blocking of superpowered individuals from getting jobs. But also, would that not fall under some kind of discrimination law?
Listen, the government, although the government loves to pretend that it doesn't like discrimination laws, except the ones that it does like. And I feel like that's one of the most realistic
Unless we can put you
parts.
in jail.
unless if I can't weaponize you, go to jail. That's what I say.
You don't want to be a weapon for the government? Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
No trial. Straight to jail.
I think it's... I don't know. I think that Doorman was my favorite episode, though, because it felt so stylized. It brought me back to that original WandaVision feeling where I was just like, what on earth is going on? And they acknowledged that it was different. They were like, Marvel Studios presents Doorman. Like, it almost felt like a short film. And that is... I mean, Marvel just proves that it can cook. It chooses not to. And so I feel like while the whole show was good, that episode being such a creative leap for what they've done recently put it into my favorite episode. Just because it was so out there. If I had to pick an episode that was my favorite that was not... like, I was kind of iffy on the found footage, like episode 5, where they go like to the place they're making the candy in the house, and part of me was like, "What are we here? Like, what are we doing? Like, is this filler? Like, why are we?" But then I also look back and I'm like, I think I kind of realized what was going on, and I have a theory. So Wonder Man is this show, right? It's a show about a guy wanting to be in the movie Wonder Man, which was supposed to be like an early... It's kind of like up in the air when the original Wonder Man came out, because what Simon saw with his dad was clearly a re-release based on their commentary on the film. He was like, oh, when I was a kid, this looked really good. So it's kind of I would guess that the original Wonder Man movie in this show originally came out 60s-ish. I think that's 60s, 70s. 60s, 70s.
Stop.
Leave it in 25.
Leave it in 25.
Thus, I think I figured it out. The show is actively parodying original 60s, 70s superhero TV shows where it's the episodic adventure of the hero and the sidekick. Think original Batman show. Batman and Robin. And I feel like episode 5 where they like bust that kid for the candy and they like are trying to get the camera, I feel like that's where that concept shone the most, because it was like, this feels like a side quest. This feels like we're not related to anything. It's a one episode runoff thing. But the antics were like kind of cartoony, they were fun, and they were clearly the hero and the sidekick. And I don't know if it felt intentional to me. I don't know if that's a reach, but the more I think about that idea, the more you think like, oh, this is kind of, there's a narrative thread, but it's very episodic. Every episode has a mission, and it goes from start to beginning. It's the episode opens, and he goes, I need a self-tape. So let's do this whole, let's run this whole shenanigan on how I get this self-tape. I have to go to my mom's birthday party. So let's run this whole shenanigan on how I get to my mom's birthday party. Oh, he got this video of us on the GoPro. Let's run this whole shenanigan on how we get the video of the GoPro. It's very episodic. It's very sitcom-y, and it's very, very remnant of the original superhero cartoons from the 60s.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of brilliant. So I don't know if that's a reach, but that concept and thought made me love the episode 5 where they bust it. He's like, yeah, no, bro, it's just peach rings. Like, these are just peach rings. And then they like get into the gunfight at the house. Like, I was just like, this is insane. Like, what are we doing? I was like, oh, this feels like Marvel though. Like, that's where it really was like, this feels like the Marvel that I knew and loved. Like, this is very tonally Marvel.
Right.
So I think outside of the Doorman episode, that was my favorite episode.
Oh boy. I don't know. I think those last 2 episodes are good.
They're good, but they're very story heavy.
But they are very story heavy, and I did like the twist with Trevor, like turning himself in and kind of taking responsibility for that. I thought that was a good twist.
Moment.
That's another way that it subverted my expectations, because they lead you to believe, like, oh, that's how that's gonna go. And I honestly, in episode 7, I was not expecting him being like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like being exposed as a undercover agent coming from the New York Times lady.
Yes.
I didn't know how they were going to get that brought up, because I know it was going to get brought up at some point. But then I didn't think it was going to be that. I thought they were going to do something else.
Me neither.
So, oh man, I'm so tired. But I'm still here.
We out here.
So
yeah, it was very subversive. I thought that was a really cool character moment for him. But I don't know. Like we've talked very positively about this show. What are your critiques?
Simon is a character.
Thank
you for coming to my TED Talk.
I agree.
I don't think he's egregious, but I do think he's a little hard to get behind sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if that's intentional, but it doesn't feel intentional.
No, because they're trying to make him like this underdog who's super relatable, and like, oh yeah, he also gets stressed like me sometimes. Except when he gets stressed, he shatters, brand new countertops in his mom's kitchen, and leaves a giant brick hole in the wall of his apartment.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it was real easy to get more attached to Trevor than anything else.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's just because Simon is a little weak, and I think it's his personality. It's how he is with all of the like. Well, I'm gonna change this line, and I need to get in my head and figure out all this stuff. And like, I think there is an aspect of like he was just overthinking it, and that's where he got stuck, and he needed to learn to stop overthinking it. But
I'm also like, you're kind of annoying, like in the kindest way possible. I was like, I don't know, because I get it. Like, I get that creative archetype. Like, he takes himself so seriously that he can't even get it done. Like, a former boss of mine, like, taught me a phrase that truly changed my life when I was in high school. And he said, Jackson, some people are so creative that they can't tie their shoes.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, that's him. That is him. He's so creative, and he almost cares too much to where he can't have any wiggle room to do anything different. And that's a cool archetype. That's a cool, like, I get it. That's part of the story. But also, like, that's kind of it for him.
Right.
That's kind of his only thing. Where I felt like Trevor being this, like, he's older, and he, has had a really rough past, is clearly, like, was a drunk, and then he took the only job he could get where he, like, posed as a terrorist, and now he's trying to, like, almost have a redo of his life, where he finally proves his dream to prove to his mom that he was worth it. Crazy character arc.
Yeah.
That is wild. So, like, 10 different levels of wow. Like, how do you feel about that? Where Trevor's great. Simon was more like, I have some family issues, and so I'm closed off and selfish. And I was like, okay, we had 8 episodes. There was clearly time to do more with him. I feel like he just needed a little more. Yeah, I agree. I think but it sucks because he's the main character. And I'm like, it's not like it's like, this other person was underdeveloped. It's like, that was kind of the only mark you missed, was the main character wasn't nearly as compelling as his sidekick.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. You also have to ask, like, yeah, you have family issues, but did he ever really, like, learn to be more open?
Not really. It's kind of like Trevor was the only person who he trusted, but it was more like And that's why the betrayal at the end did kind of get me. Because I was like, wow, that really was his only friend.
And I thought it was really cool that they foreshadowed that with the Wonder Man script.
Yes, that was
I
awesome.
caught on to that real quick of like, they were kind of priming you for that.
Yeah, like this betrayal's coming.
Yeah.
And that's why it was such a big character moment for Trevor to take the blame. That was awesome. And that was another thing that Trevor did that was awesome. Like, it was just, like, I'm pro Trevor, not pro Simon. And I don't know if that was the point, but I felt like they were like, love Simon, which is a different movie we're not talking about. But, like, it's just, I felt like that was the mark that they missed, was Simon's character. And it was like, oh, he had this girlfriend, and we're not going to explore anything else with her about what their relationship was like.
Yeah, she's gone, actually, in the first episode.
Right. And then she's going to come back. But she knew he was a superhero. And I was like, brother, what? Like, she knew? And you're not going to, like, talk about that?
I did appreciate that they stayed broken up, because I feel like some shows would fall into that trope of, like, he does character development, and now he has the job, and now he has the stuff. And now they're back together and like that. But that wasn't like his happy ending.
No.
His happy ending was getting the part.
Right.
And like becoming an actor.
But
so I am glad that they kind of stuck with that.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's more just like the happy ending of like, oh I want the dream career is almost like, that's not a very happy ending to me.
Right.
Like, you're still kind of the worst. And so, I don't know. I'm curious to see, like, have we heard anything about a season 2 for this?
I doubt it. This does not feel like something that needs a season 2. It's nowhere near as popular as some of the other Marvel shows that haven't gotten a season 2. So I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, like, that no, as of right now, as of February 2026, there's no official statement about a season 2. But also there was no, like, I was like, all right, like, the episode ended and I was like, hit me with it. Like, let me see it.
I fast forwarded
Wonder Man will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, all right, I'm ready. What's the catch?
I fast forwarded to look for like a post-credit
scene,
and there was nothing.
There wasn't anything.
Thank God.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, they actually for real were just like, yeah, this is it.
We're done.
And so weirdly dropped. Here's my question: like, would you consider this one of the best Marvel shows?
No,
I
don't think it comes anywhere close to WandaVision or Loki, like, at all.
Yeah.
I think it's really good, and I think it's a much needed win for Marvel. And I want to see them go in this more grounded direction that focuses on some lesser known heroes, because this is how you build up to another Endgame.
Right.
Is you start getting us to care about characters again like this.
Yeah.
That are new, that are not original, like, because it's all based on a comic book, but you know what I mean, like new characters that are fresh.
Yeah.
And so I do want to see them move in this direction more.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anywhere near one of the best Marvel shows.
I think I could agree, simply just because I don't think it's comparable. I don't think you could look at this. I feel like you could look at this show and maybe WandaVision and be like, okay, there's some similarities just in the medium, but I'm getting used to, but it's not connected.
Right.
Like, I know I did this whole rant about like how I want that, and I do want that. Like you said, that's how you build to something bigger, is if you truly have your heart set on, we need to build to something bigger, we need to do another big universe, we need to do a whole thing. Maybe he's going to be in Secret Wars. I don't freaking know. I hope not, because guess what? he's not that hero. He's not the superhero that saves people.
He's not even really a hero.
He's just kind of a guy with superpowers. We don't even know how he got his superpowers. He was in a kitchen fire, I guess. I don't know. And part of me was like, I get it. Like, you don't want to over-explain. Like, you want to leave some stuff to the imagination. But it was also like the finale, the very last scene where he breaks him out of jail is like, what even is his powers?
I think the idea was like some form of ionic disruption.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
You know, your guess is as good as mine.
Marvel science word. I'm smart. Ionic disruption. It's the quantum thing. The quantum. Yeah. It's the ionic disruption of the quantum realm.
It's the quantumania.
It's the multiversal quantumanium realm of the Reed Richards company freaking smart science word. And that's how his powers work. Trust me. Yeah, I don't know. I it's hard because I did really love it. I thought that there was some amazing work there. And like you said, I agree. I think it was just a great win for Marvel. If they kept doing stuff like this, I will watch it. Yeah. This is such a leap in the correct direction. Such just leaps and bounds better than what they've been doing. But it's still not like WandaVision. Right. It's still not like that first season of Loki, you know? It's just different. It feels somewhat lower quality in a weird way.
Yeah.
And I can't really pinpoint it.
Good for them. They need something that doesn't cost them $80 bajillion. Like, they need to just make the smaller stuff and call it a day.
Right. And I'm here for their smaller stuff. Like, I think that they have a huge opportunity to give like newer directors opportunities to direct things like this, because that's how we get big directors, is they're given the chance to do something smaller. Like, also, final thoughts as we kind of wrap up. I thought the soundtrack choices were great. They set that like old Hollywood vibe really well. Lots of good country music I thought was interesting. I thought the title card was really stylized. I loved that concept of the show. Like, it was in there a lot. I thought the cinematography was way more intentional than we've seen in Marvel in the past. I appreciated that. I thought the lighting was really good. It was a great production. It was just more like it needed a little bit more character work to really push there. But wow. I think they could do a season 2 that could just like blow us out of the water.
Okay, so I looked this up. Destin Daniel Creton. I thought his name looked familiar, so I looked him up. He is the guy who directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 12 Rings.
Okay.
And upcoming, he is the director for Shang-Chi and the Wreckage of Time, which is the sequel, and also Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Whoa. Okay.
Which is different than the guy who did the other movies. I don't know why they...
Yeah, they dropped John Watts.
I don't know why they did that.
Wonder Man also had 4 different directors, and they each got 2 episodes. Oh my gosh. Dude, James Ponsoldt? Ponsoldt. He was one of the directors of 2 of the episodes, and he was a producer on the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, The Circle.
Oh my gosh.
Emma Watson. He was a producer. That's freaking insane. Yeah, that's the worst.
Is that movie good?
The movie, no. Don't, like, not even worth your time bad. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a propaganda piece.
Like, you mean like the new Steven Spielberg movie?
Yeah. Yeah. No, like not even American propaganda. Like, I thought it was yeah. Anyway, interesting. I'm curious to see where Marvel goes from here, and if they're like, you know, this show is somewhat successful, got some good reviews, so hopefully it's like, yeah, we're gonna keep doing smaller, chiller one season spinoffs that, maybe go to other things, but we're not planning on it. So.
Oh my gosh, John Boyega is in the circle?
Oh yeah, that movie has
What
a stack.
did they
Has
do
Tom
to him?
Hanks, John Boyega, Emma Watson,
Beck?
Yeah. So.
That's interesting.
Oh. All right. Well, unless you have anything else to add, I think this is the end of our Wonder Man review.
I believe it is.
I believe it is. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Nerdiest Podcast. If you watched Wonder Man and have some thoughts, drop it in the comments down below. If you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify, drop a comment. We always read them and we always love to see them. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like what you see here, this is a fully independent production. We do everything for the Nerdiest Podcast. So please subscribe on YouTube. Become a member on YouTube to be added to the Nerdiest After Show, where you get monthly bonus episodes. We like to shout out our YouTube member, Retro Plaid Guy.
Woo!
You are a hero. We have a new episode coming to you very soon. And if you have ideas for what you want us to talk about on the after show or on the main show, whatever you need, please let us know. Drop a comment down below. We are so thankful for you. We love you all. We will see you in the next episode. But until then,
Bye.